Great. Doug, this is a matter that I've heard you talk about before. And I must confess, years back, you warned that we'll face this decline, but to learn that 4 consecutive years, we've declined all the way where we are now in the 40 million barrels. It's quite alarming. For you, where do you put the issue in terms of why we're seeing this decline, and how long before we run out of oil with existing fields that we have?
Well, thank you very much, Evans. The trend actually speaks to 2 things. First is that our oil fields are peaking. And as Mark Ajiman indicated, the last time I checked, we've actually produced about half of Jubilee. We've done about a third of 10, and about a quarter of SGN, Sankofa Jiname. And so if we don't add to our reserves, in a matter of 10 to 15 years, we will have no oil industry. I know GNPC has been making efforts at attracting investments into our oil industry, but the investments have not been forthcoming. Sometimes I feel we are even just throwing money down the drain. They are not coming. The investments are not coming for obvious reasons. First, we had ExxonMobil that exited our oil industry, and their main reason was the sizes of our blocks and the quantum of find they made. If we had bigger blocks, then they have better prospects of finding oil and in the right quantities. That would get them interested. The other reason, which we infer from our last bidding round, has to do with the data quality. We do not have adequate data and in the right quality to be able to attract investors. This the Ministry of Energy is aware. I recall when Mohamed Amin Adam, the current Minister for Finance, was at the ministry, he admitted that indeed they needed to do something about the quality of data we have. But we haven't done much about it, and so it wouldn't be the time that we'll be able to attract the right kind of investments. Then the oil companies themselves, those who are here, because for a new entrant, they will definitely undertake some risk analysis. And in doing so, they will be talking to the players in the country. And indeed, they do talk to them. There's been a major concern about regulatory unpredictability, where every year we change the rules. We introduce new fiscal items, which then disrupts the financial planning of these companies in country. Again, there's been the complaint about the application of our rules rather capriciously. And so I think these are matters that are known to the government.
But Dr. Manteaw, what about the stability clauses that the IOCs have?
Exactly. A lot of them complain that in spite of the fact that they have stability clauses, whenever we introduce new rules, we enforce it on them. I know a lot of them have resisted and continue to resist, but it creates a certain discomfort for them, and therefore deters their appetite for investments. So these are matters that the authorities are aware of. There's a third leg, which has to do with the fact that currently we are in an era of energy transition, where most of the developed countries and the major oil companies are beginning to divest their interest from fossil fuel into renewable energy. Within the EU, for instance, a program has been introduced dubbed taxonomy, the EU taxonomy program, which seeks to discourage investments in fossil fuel and encourage investments in renewable energy. And so, for instance, if you went to the EU to do roadshows, chances are that you will come home empty-handed. And indeed, that has been the case in some of the roadshows that have been embarked upon by the GMPs. So time has come for us to rethink. And I think the immediate thing we could do is to provide some regulatory predictability to those in country. I think there's so much antagonism in the sector. Currently, as we speak, my information is that the ENI managing director has relocated from Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire because there is a threat of he being arrested.
Why?
For supposed contempt of court. And so you find that currently ENI has prioritized its operational activities and investments in La Cote d'Ivoire just because of the controversy or the dispute they have with Springfield. I think the earlier we settle this matter, the better it will be for the country in getting ENI, because currently they are the biggest player in Ghana's oil industry. So it's a myriad of things that have come to stall some of the activities in our oil industry and resulted in the decline that we are seeing currently.